Welcome to the Open to Hope Show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley. Have any of you that have had a traumatic loss wondered if you have post-traumatic stress disorder? We're here today to talk to you about what it is and what are the signs.
and the reason we're going to talk about it today is because Barbara J. sent us an email, and Barbara said that her 23-year-old son was run over in a parking lot with her. The police came to do CPR, and he unfortunately passed away. And Barbara keeps running those scenes in her mind over and over. She sees him getting CPR. And her neighbor has told her, Heidi, that she thinks she might have something called PTSD. Barbara says, what is PTSD? And do you have any suggestions? How would I know if I have it, and what should I do about it? How do you want to tell us what that is, PTSD?
PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And I certainly thought I had it after Scott died, because he died in a very traumatic car accident along with my cousin Matthew. And I, just like Barbara, had intrusive thoughts all the time and nightmares about how he died. It's very, very normal, I just want to say to people, to have intrusive thoughts and nightmares about how someone you love has died the first year. I think it's pretty normal for the first year.
So Barbara is still sort of in the range of normal grief. It's just been a year. Talk about some of the symptoms of post-traumatic stress, how they find it, how Barbara would know.
The symptoms of PTSD are intrusive thoughts, repeated memories, and distressing dreams and flashbacks. Those will all be under intrusive thoughts. Avoiding reminders of the traumatic event. So you're going to avoid anything, people, places, activities that remind you of the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You won't maybe go, maybe Barbara wouldn't be going to the place where her son died. She wouldn't be
the grocery store. She could have an anxiety attack. I mean, it has to be pretty strong, Barbara, because, you've got to think about it when you pass that place or go there. And it may be a while before people can do those kinds of things. So some of these things are normal, post-traumatic stress. One of the reasons that post-traumatic stress disorder has gotten a lot of play is because it's involved with insurance too. If they can give you a diagnosis, you're more likely to get insurance. So you have to be careful that grief doesn't get overdiagnosed, don't you, Heidi?
Well, if you have PTSD and you really do have it, it's going to interfere with your work, with your daily functioning, and really disrupt your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, in the first year, often it looks like we have PTSD, and that's just normal. That's just normal grief because we've had trauma. Because having someone die is traumatic. The other things are negative thoughts and feelings around the loss, and being easily startled and reactive. I want to say we had Dr. April Naturel on our show, who is an expert on PTSD, and she said that only 20% of those that have had a traumatic loss actually have PTSD. She said 80% will get better on their own with time. But you need to have, in order to get better with time, it's important to have good social support and good coping skills. And the coping skills might include breathing, walking, stretching, mindfulness, taking care of yourself. Staying in airtight compartments, staying in the present, not catastrophizing your whole life, not getting too far ahead of yourself because it's stressful. So that I thought was interesting.
Yeah. So Barbara, be patient with yourself. A year is not a lot. I call it frozen grief for the first year, and the second year can be tough because you can feel like, wow, this is going to be my life. And sometimes people get in touch with me, and I'm sure they have you, Heidi, the second year, and say, wow, I'm not getting better, but I feel like I'm backsliding. And I say, that's because you're thawing out and your body's able to take in more of what happened. So you're actually getting better. Barbara, you saw something that was very disturbing. And if you see something and keep replaying that picture, there is something called EMDR therapy. It's rapid movement desensitization and reprocessing. I've had people tell me that when they keep playing one specific picture over that if they have this treatment, that it has been helpful. It's not like a, wow, you know, I'm fine now, but the images don't seem to be as strong for them. So I would suggest that maybe you want to look into rapid eye desensitization and go to somebody who knows how to do it.
PTSD stops people from working, it stops people from having relationships, and it stops people from having any joy. So if that, I mean, it's that severe. It's very horrific and it's very serious. According to Dr. Catherine Shear, who is an expert on complicated grief, she said that anything in the first year is almost always normal, even though it might look crazy, even though it might look dysfunctional. If you're in the first 12 months, that is, you know, a normal reaction to an abnormal situation, whatever you happen to be doing. And the last thing I want to say, and Dr. April Naturel said this on the show, and we've certainly seen it over the years in our own work, Mom, is that trauma is all about your perception. And it's about what you're telling yourself. And oftentimes when you've had a traumatic loss, when I had a traumatic loss, when we've had traumatic losses, we keep telling ourselves negative things over and over and over, and we keep going back into those places of trauma and re-traumatizing ourselves over and over. So my heart goes out to everybody out there that's had a traumatic loss.
Absolutely, and try to get support. Groups like the Compassionate Friends or Soaring Spirits Foundation can be helpful. Through time, you can grow out of PTSD and the stress that you have. Well, and you may want to get help also from a therapist, right, Heidi?
Absolutely, and like you said, Mom, people move oftentimes into post-traumatic growth. So from trauma comes growth, and we become, you know, closer to people. We don't take life for granted. We can handle adversity better. I mean, over time, you will grow, even though you still want your loved one back. Over time, you will change in profound ways. And like you said, Mom, and I cannot stress this enough, social support is key. You need to surround yourself with people that have been through what you have been through, so that you can get support and not feel so crazy and not feel so different. There are many, many, many Facebook pages online that are closed through the Compassionate Friends, where you can get support from people like my mom, like me. We've all been through this. And so we need to get through it together.
And please visit us at opentohope.com. We have thousands of articles, radio shows, television shows, and they're all there helping you to find hope after loss. So please visit us. And also, we would like you to go there and email us any questions that you have that you want us to respond to on a show. If you lost hope, please lean on ours until you find your own. And God bless.